Hey, howdy.
Thanks
How's it going?
for helping my project.
Yeah, no problem.
Could you say a couple words about yourself?
Um, who am I? I'm contracting over at Axiom right now on the space station and just barely tracking the Artemis stuff, but and love coming over here to LPI for their lecture series. So.
Oh, that's really awesome. What got you into space?
It's funny. I started in the marine world, and then just did the deep dive in software, and came up in space many years later, and I think just always intrigued by. Always wondered if I should have done like the pure sciences, and I feel like it's the way to kind of do lean into that as much as you can as a software engineer.
You're thinking about like the physics, chemistry, biology, that type of thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
And not that I'm doing that on the daily basis or anything, but I'm a little closer than I used to be. So
That's cool.
It's exciting to me.
When did you find out that NASA was going back to the moon? Like, when did it become?
I think
You become aware of that?
so somewhere in like 3 or 4 years ago or something.
Okay.
I can't say I was like tracking it but kind of just bubbled up a bit more and more into my consciousness. So it's hard to say exactly what.
Especially, I guess, with like Axiom winning like the spacesuit contract, for example, that would be a.
Yeah, I've only transitioned to the space industry in the last like 18 months or so. So back then it was just hobby interests, but definitely played a role in like getting this industry and this sector more on my radar. It's like just kind of bubbles in through all of collective consciousness or something.
But I guess, how do you feel about us going back to the moon?
Excited. Lots of different things. It's interesting to. I'm curious, like, about the backstory of how it all aligned, and I think like people that aren't in the industry are always like, why did we not? What's with the big hiatus and stuff? And I've come here for some of the lectures on like the mineral, like the interest in the South Pole and all that stuff. But still kind of curious, like how the administration, like how that unfolded.
What's the political reason? I mean, I guess with Apollo, it's pretty easy to beat the Russians, but now what's the driver?
But politics is way less interesting than the science, though. So so better late than never.
That's true. When you think about where it might get us, like if you were to think out not just like 10 or 50 or 100 years, but like 200 years, do you think humans are living their lives on other worlds as well as Earth, or do you think we're still just on Earth making these little short trips?
I definitely think between the pessimistic, optimistic spectrum, it's pretty hard to wrap your head just around the light years of distance between everything. So I think we need like fundamental breakthroughs in like the biology side of like pausing our biological reality or whatever.
Well, to get to another star,
so,
but
that's
I mean,
like a whole other almost a parallel track that needs to evolve as much as any. But gosh, I mean, but the stuff is kind of exponential, right? Like you build up what previous experiences we have, so it's hard to super hard to say.
But also, I mean, the moon's only 3 days away,
Right,
and then
right.
Mars, if you launch at the right time, is only like
Right.
5 months away.
Right.
So.
And then when you start thinking about like Earth, planets that may or may not have something like, what do they call them? There's some term for it, like the similar properties to Earth, things that you could actually, the ones they try to identify. What is it, like Kepler 134b or something?
Okay, right.
I can't recall right now, but there's that whole project that tries to identify like Earth-like planets out there.
But they're like you said,
But
they're very far away.
insanely far away. So, like, that's what I was referring to, and I'm like, we gotta figure out how to like freeze ourselves or something.
Like on Passengers, that movie where they go to sleep and they wake up.
Yeah.
And if you could, would you take a trip to space?
Yes.
How far would you go?
That's the good question. I find it intriguing, but I wouldn't take a one-way trip. But I'd
Sure.
take a pretty long trip.
Yeah, you would go to Mars if you could come back, type of thing, maybe.
I forget what's the travel time? I forget.
I think it's like 5 months to get there, but then you need to wait for the planets to realign, which takes like about a year and a half, and then 5 months to come back.
I guess I could handle that time scale, yeah. I think like I wouldn't want to miss family for the size of a fraction of a decade or anything.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's about, I think that would be my upper limit.
You think you'll get a chance to travel to space, even if it's like suborbital in your lifetime?
One comes up. It's hard to imagine that the economics would really get that affordable, but because we're just using traditional fuels, and there's so much safety criticals. It's hard to imagine that I would bubble up to the top of that.
But I guess I'm thinking about what SpaceX is doing with Starship in terms of
Right.
like 100% reusable rocket that's
Right.
twice as powerful as Apollo, but then the cheapest rocket to operate since you get to reuse it.
It's still gonna be like 100,000 times a plane ticket or something.
You know, they say they're planning to use it for point-to-point Earth travel, and that they could be profitable for an equivalent first-class airline ticket.
That is
So
that is wild. That is way less than I was imagining.
of course, that they haven't started selling tickets yet either.
Right,
So,
right.
you
Yeah,
know.
we'll see it when it's more than a tweet.
But could you imagine? I mean, I think a first-class airline ticket from here to New Zealand is what, $10,000 or $15,000. I mean, to arrive there in 30 minutes instead of like 15 hours or whatever it takes.
Right. That is wild to think about. I have not thought about it that much.
Well, Ben, thank you so much for your time.
Yeah.
It's such a pleasure to be able to talk to you.
Likewise. Good luck with the sequence. It's a cool idea.
Yeah, thank you.